This episode of Finding Demo Surf Fishing is being brought to you by Ninja Tackle. NinjaTackleVA.com is a great website to go to. If you're looking for great rods, the Ninja Dagger series, you guys know I love them. Use them all the time. It's the primary rods for me. 7-footer all the way up to the 13. Still haven't thrown the 13. I'll admit it. I haven't done it yet. But the few people that have told me nothing but great things and they're loving it. So eventually I'm going to find my way up there and go try it. If you need rigs, he's got you covered on that. Reels, all different types of things all set up in the shop. He's got it there. It's a one-stop shop with great shipping. If you need to get into the tactical side, little accessories for your things. Yeah, Ninja Tactical side. Yep. Take a look at it. Lots of great things in there, great prices, and excellent customer service all the way across. NinjaTackleVA.com. Go check it out. Yes. New week, new episode. Hope you're doing well wherever you are. Things are going extremely perfect for you so far. That'd be great. That's always a good way to start. Hope you enjoyed last week's episode. I know it wasn't a Friday drop, it was a live, and definitely one of my more controversial, dabbling into politics, which is something I absolutely hate. But it was a spur of the moment, and I didn't hate it actually. It was a good topic, and I got a lot of good feedback from different people. And hey, it's all good. Next time I do that, I will do better about getting it earlier, so the pro and the con side can have a say in it. But still, all good. Still, I wasn't sad to do it. I'm glad I did. So this week, we're sticking along the lines in a way of other things, I guess is the best way to say it. I want to talk to you about sponsors and sponsorships and pro staff, ambassadorships, all that stuff. And it's a topic that I've avoided for a while because there's plenty of commotion here in the community about that topic. And I know some of you are going to be like, well, why am I going to listen to this? This doesn't matter to me. I have no skin in this fight. You don't. Or do you? Because every one of us in the quote unquote influencer, God, I hate that word, world, move into this in a bit. And you are also of the same variety, because if you're in a Facebook group, a perfect example here, and somebody's asking for a rod recommendation, oh, what are you going to recommend? You're probably going to recommend what you use, right? All right. Well, isn't that not the same thing in a way? I guess the difference being is, what's the tagging? Are you getting something back for it, or are you just enjoying the simple fact that you helped somebody, right? So there, I really want to get into this because I think it's been demonized quite a bit, and I'm going to go ahead and open up and tell you all about what we do here on my show. And for any of you that are thinking about getting into it, maybe this will be a roadmap for you. Maybe this will help you out. I hope it does. That's always the goal here of this podcast, is to try to help you be successful in fishing. We've been doing it a while now, and I don't plan on stopping. So let's just jump into it. Let's stop dancing around it, shall we? So we're going to cover the different types, types of sponsorships, how to get them, even negotiating. I want to go over that because that's a lot of fun to talk about. And definitely let's hit the pros and cons. We're going to we'll cover all the pieces: sponsorships, pro staff, ambassadorships, and some of the ups and downs, examples of real good collaborations from my side that I have seen. And, some of the ones that have just been like, oh boy, that did not go how I thought it was going to go. So let me dial it in here, and we'll go right into how I got sponsored. And that's going to kind of set up the tone, if you will. So when I first started this, before it was Finding Demo Surf Fishing, it was just Brian Demo, the writer. I've always been into writing. It's been one of my favorite things to do. And I moved down here and I started really wanting to write reviews and write about products. and I wanted to get into it. And the only way I knew how to do it was basically use friends' gear and start from there. And that's how it did. I started out trying other people's gear that I got and wrote about it and got it ready. And I reached out to some companies and said, "Hey, I'm going to write this. Here's what it is." And, I had like a following of 10 people, maybe, friends and family that were like, "Yeah, we'll read your stuff." And then it kind of grew. And with that growth came meeting other companies. Perfect example, Ninja Tackle. They're sponsoring this episode, so it's a perfect example to go with here. I'd heard a lot of great things about Matt's rods, the Ninja, the 12-foot dagger. Tony Fagioni, he lives down the street from me. He had one and he had nothing but amazing things to say about it. And I was like, okay, well, can I borrow it? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. Here you go. So I took it out, threw it, and I loved it. Absolutely love the rod. I only had one thing I didn't like about it, and that was the butt. And I wrote it up and told the whole thing. And then I called Matt and said, "Hey, I'm writing this about your rods." And Matt was like, "Okay, cool." Wide open for feedback, but also super helpful to me. And since the start to today, Matt shared, like, "Hey, you should look at this, talk about these, look at these." He kind of guided me. And it was really a great start for me because it opened my eyes to things I didn't know. And Matt said something that really stuck out to me, and it still does, was don't go full power all the way right away, because you're going to burn out and it's just gonna turn into something horrible and you're gonna regret it. And he was right. I mean, I slowed up and then the podcast came to life. And yeah, you guys have seen it. I've gone into burnout mode a couple times here. And it's just like, okay, cool. Regroup, restart. Well, through that being said, that was my first real quote unquote sponsorship, was Matt. He said yes to I had pretty much anything that I wanted to learn about, and he helped me facilitate it. Same with the sinker guy. Got into Sputniks from, Kyle. Yeah, Kyle for a while. Met him, and all of a sudden I learned about Sputniks. I wrote about it, and I showed the difference of castability and distance and holding power in Sputniks versus a bunch of other weights. And that's all back on findingdemosurfishing.com, and you can read about it. And I just basically laid it all out. All of those things built into something. It grew, and basically all of it really was a start to my sponsorships and my ambassadorships and pro staff life. So it all starts somewhere, and you have to build into it, and then the relationship creates from that into other things. So let's talk about definitions here. So a sponsorship is more the financial or product based support from a brand, normally in exchange for, call it, promotion. Normally you're talking formal agreements here. When you're in the sponsorship world, yeah, it's in there. Like we're going into monetary. Good example, podcast. This show is sponsored. It is financially covered by my sponsors. That was an unexpected turn. And all my sponsors, when I reached out to ask them about sponsoring the show, they were like, "You need to charge." And I was like, "I don't know if I should. I mean, I appreciate you and I love your gear." And they're like, "No, you need to stop it and you need to charge. That's what you need to do." Okay. And I did. So a sponsorship came up with an agreement for all of us before I did all these things. Every quarter we go over the agreement again and we run it. That's a sponsorship. Pro staff is more the middle ground here, because the next one's ambassadors. So the pro staff's in the middle. Normally you're talking about some support, usually in the product form. It's more of a promote the brand. Generally it's intermediate and advanced anglers with a good following. Two things that I kind of push there, right? The following. That is so important, is the following, because if you don't have a good following, what is going to be the ROI? What is the return on the investment of them putting money and product into you so they can make money back? It's a relationship, right? It's a business. And that's the easiest way to mention it and think about it. In the ambassadorship world, more casual form of promotion. So ambassadors normally are just, hey, use and promote product with no quotas, obligations. I don't know. T-shirts, they're normally the first one that comes to my mind. Hey, this shirt you wear, ambassadorship, here's that code, blah, blah. That's more of that one. It's kind of a free floating. So you got between those three, you can kind of dance around that and I don't know, pick which one I guess you want to go for. So a lot of companies are going to start you out in the ambassadorship because it's the least restrictive. Yeah, it's the start of the relationship. You guys are going to grow and live and figure that stuff out and then move up from there. The one piece I will say though is you have to really know what it is you want to get to. So if you're getting into this game and you want to play into it and grow at that level, do you want a financial gain? You want a sponsorship, like financial wise? You have to set yourself up for that. You have to create the environment that makes it worthy, if you will. I know it sounds like a horrible word to say, but think of it in the regards of this. If you have a product and you're going to give that product to somebody to promote, what do you want? You obviously want your product to grow, right? It's what we all want. And getting it in front of other people versus, TV commercials and whatnot. This is your advertising. It's coming out of your advertising budget to do this, whether it's product or financial. If you do not have the audience and tags and growth that warrant what they say is a sponsor, you're probably not going to get it. Well, let's just call the spade a spade here. I'm utterly surprised that I have a sponsorship. I probably admit that I tell that every time I talk to them. I'm like, I can't believe you still want to cover me on this. This is great. But I can't go to Daiwa. The perfect example, or Shimano. You guys know I love the Ultegras, right? I know I can't go to Shimano with a 2,000 following of a podcast and talk about the gear and ask them, hey, look, I'd like to be sponsored, when I mention their stuff every few podcasts. It's not going to happen. There's no ROI. Well, no one's going to be like, oh, well, Demo uses the Shimano Ultegra. Well, crap, it's a $200 reel. I'm going to buy it. Not likely. I mean, it sounds cool. I mean, again, I have nothing bad ever to say about that damn reel. That's a friggin' great reel. But, no one, I don't have that influence, if you will. I just don't. And companies will see that and be like, okay, well, we're not there yet. Maybe we can talk about it later on if we get into a certain one. So there's knowing those ones of where you want to be, how you want to get there, and you got to kind of make that business plan. So let's do pro con. Okay. In the sponsorship world, a pro, definitely financial support, gear, access to industry events, and the larger platform. Like, dude, could you imagine your growth, right? That's key. A great example is I am on pro staff for Fishbites. I've been on it for a couple years now. What do I get? I get set up with my agreement with them. I have my line number that I am allowed X. Okay. That's the agreement that we came up with. That was a pro situation. That was a negotiation. I would like this. They would like this. Okay. What do we need to negotiate? I got what I wanted. They got what they're wanting. Okay. That's a win-win, right? I got one other thing. I got to go to an industry event. I got to go to ICAST. That was huge for me. It was a monster. It opened my eyes to so many things and made me see so many products and get more guests on the show to talk to you about gear. That was huge. Not everybody gets that. Super win. Again, negotiating, right? So, sorry, little example there. But the cons, there is higher expectations, potential exclusivity clauses, and the need to provide a measurable ROI. That right there is the key for business, an ROI. Off of Fishbites, let's talk about, like, for Matt, for Ninja Tackle. If Matt gives me a rod, what does he lose? He loses a rod at retail. He's losing money out of his pocket to feed his family because that's his business. That's his moneymaker. That's what he does every day, day in and day out, running Ninja Tackle. He lost that one, but there's another trickle effect. The shipping. It came from overseas or something, or that piece, right? The research and development that he needs to do for the next series of rods or other pieces. That one rod has a trickle effect. So if I get him 3 rods sold because of me, there's an ROI. Okay, he got his one back plus 2. That's an ROI. That's a measurable ROI. That's a win. But you have to get there for it, right? And that's where you start seeing like the codes for that so that they can measure if your reach is giving an ROI for that. Those things together will get you pretty far. Now, the one that I know people hate is the exclusivity clause. Yes. However, there is room to negotiate that. And that is the thing that you need to do is be able to negotiate. You have to work that. Um, do I have any exclusivity? I do, but I've also renegotiated exclusivity for myself. Uh, I can tell you about it. I'm just going to, I'm not going to do it on this podcast. I'll do it another time. But it was a negotiation for that to get to a certain point. That's a win. And that's exactly what I built for my business. So you have to know with a sponsorship thing, big money in, big money out, right? You got to have that backup. For pro staff, you start looking at pros of like discounted products, flexibility, strong resume builder for future opportunities because, you're going to want to grow, right? This is, hey, I'm on this pro staff. That's a big deal. If you go into a company like, well, I've been on this pro staff for this long, I've done this, this, and this. That's the proof in the pudding. That's a win. When it comes into the con side, maybe the benefits are not as high. Maybe it's a lower tier, limited influence on brand decisions. Maybe maybe you could have a great idea for their next product, but you just don't have something that they're like, yeah, we appreciate what you have to say, but you don't really have a seat at the table yet. Build it and maybe you can get there. And they might need you to do more promotion than you're getting or than you're receiving back. Well, that sucks. Okay. Again, that con is part of your negotiation. You need to negotiate that. You need to be able to go and say, well, you want me to do 5 Facebook posts per month? Okay. Well, can you help me on the same one by promoting the same 5? Well, we can't do that. Well, what can you do for me? How can we meet in the middle on this? No, I better pause there because meeting in the middle, it's one of my favorite things to do. But, I hate using that word. But in a negotiation, there's always somebody that wins and somebody that loses. Very rarely is it 50-50. There's going to be a concession somewhere. Somebody has to make the deal, or the deal doesn't get done. So knowing what you want going into that is going to make the difference. And the conversation piece that comes from that builds off of you and your business, your brand, your growth, your audience, all of that for you to say, I have this and you want this. You need me. I need you. Here's this. So negotiation on that is, again, huge. For the ambassadorship side, pro flexibility, less pressure. Hey, cool, I got a t-shirt. Yeah, wear this shirt. They're great. They're comfortable. Great for a starting relationship with a brand. If you want to get your foot in the door, it's a great way to do that. Work your way in and meet people and grow through that method. Cons, there's really no perks. It's maybe onesie twosies, and it's very much so looked at as an unofficial thing. Yeah, you're an ambassador. Oh, okay, that kind of sucks, but that's a starting point, right? So it's all, I don't know, back in the way of thinking. It's more in the eye of what you determine it, how you feel about it, what you think about it. So running those pieces again brings it into the negotiation. And that's just the piece that you have to play into. So it's been about 20 minutes here, and you guys know that's what we do here. We do a bait check every 20 minutes. So you need to reel that line in. You need to double check to make sure you still got stuff, because if you don't, man, fishing on credit, ain't going to catch, bud. This bait check is being brought to you by DS Custom Tackle, and I've got something cool to tell you about. There's a new add to the DS Custom Tackle line, and it is the Pompin' Ain't Easy fishing line. It's pretty cool. It really is. I'm smiling, laughing about it. I got my shirt in the mail, actually. I was like, this is nice. Nice, real comfortable t-shirts. They're very light, and they're that sport material, but they've also got the brand new rigs for it too, the Pompin' Ain't Easy series, and there's going to be a lot more. So if you go over to dscustomtackle.com, take a look at the website. There's plenty of things on there, and at the top it says Pompin' Ain't Easy. Hop on that, take a look, and get on the train, man, because that's going to be a fun adventure, and I am stupid excited to see where it takes us. I really am, man. So much fun. All right. So continuing on, uh, let's talk about building your brand and attracting the sponsors. Okay. So social media, we all need it. And we're all on it, right? Pretty much. That's where we live. The content that is so important. So you got to emphasize the power of Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook, and you got to showcase all the things that they're going to matter to them. I cannot emphasize enough how much you have to use other avenues of social media other than one platform. Now, for me, I'm learning TikTok more and I'm enjoying TikTok. I know that everybody's got their own personal opinions on things, Twitter, whatever, blah, blah. If you're in this game, you got to have a presence for it. I do some videos on Twitch. I do things like that. I do these because of me. Now, the other side of that too is I'm not a video. I don't do YouTube like that. That's kind of a challenge, right? How's a podcast going to do that? Well, it's not that difficult. You plan things, you build posts that generate things, you create, you make things happen. And then you also write stuff and you talk about the products and you spend the time with the company on that to help that. And then you harness the power of social media and your network to utilize it. Yeah, there's a lot to it. You got to do it. But you can't really back it down. So talking about that piece, you got the community engagement, local surf fishing clubs, Facebook groups, events, forums, tournaments, all that stuff adds into your brand to get sponsors. That you have to be now with that, you have to be smart in the regards of you can't go into, I don't know, you can't go into a tournament that's sponsored by one company and use their rival product and drop it right down on top of them, right? What's that going to do? That's one that's going to put a bad taste in several people's mouths, right? Especially that company. They're like, okay, cool, that guy's a problem. Now let's multiply that. That person's network is now probably going to know who you are and probably not going to support you. You're going to get labeled. You're going to get branded. That is a real thing. It absolutely is in this community. I will be the first one to admit that because I have been the guy that has been branded and I have also branded. So it's a give and take. So you got to have a little bit of G2 on that when it comes to thinking, hey, look, I got to do these things a certain way in the community. That ties also with networking and your reputation. So yeah, pretty much nailed that with reputation, right? You got to be known as who you are. Are you responsible? Are you responsible? Well, that's a word. Are you credible? Are you genuine? That's a big one. Does your network and other networks, do they talk about you in a positive light? Is there a chance that someone else's network wants to work with you to build their brand and your brand? Is there information that you two can share that turns this thing into that? Networking is huge. It's a monster. It has to be done. Oh man, reputation. That's a topic of doom right there. Like you can get into some serious bridge burning when you start talking reputation pieces. And I'm going to burn one here. So I personally believe that if you are sponsored in any way, shape, or form, whether it's a sponsorship, ambassador, pro staff, whatever, if you do not use that product, then you are doing a disservice to that company and the people that follow you. I truly believe that because all you are is peddling for money. And hey, God, good on you, man, for the hustle. You got to hustle to make your dollar. Hey, okay, that's you. All good. Brian's opinion. Yeah, no. If you don't believe in what you're peddling and selling and moving and using, yeah, no. Then what's the point? Why waste my time? Why waste people's time? It's no different to me than basically just, I don't want to say lying, but it's like, well, what's the point? What'd you bring me? So, yeah, reputation with that one's a good one, man. And I know there are going to be people that hear this podcast and share it and be like, oh, are they talking about you? And that wasn't directed at anyone in particular, actually. But if the shoe fits, you can lace that boot right up and wear it. Yeah, I said that 24 minutes. There you go. You can tell that there's the time marker. I believe that. So everything on findingdemosurffishing.com is stuff I have that I use. I don't, throw things on there that I don't use. Everybody that sponsors this show, I use their gear. I go to their events. I support their cause. And there's stuff that I talk about and I tag that you've seen on Facebook if you follow me, and Instagram and all those other ones. I use gear that's not sponsored to the show yet because there's no advertising space. I wish I could say, oh yeah, we're going to give you this. I just don't do that. That's me. That's Brian's business. But you guys have seen me use it. Like great example. Like I shouldn't go too far, but we'll go into this real quick. Halco. Love Halco. I met them at ICAST and I was like, oh my God, I want to do something with this, guys. I want to do something so bad with Halco. Oh, these lures are beautiful. Oh my God, they're expensive. Oh, can we work something? That is not a beneficial relationship to me and them at all. It's not. I wish it was, but it's not. I don't fish that style. I don't do that style of fishing that Halco would be able to utilize. I don't. Their lures are beautiful. Their poppers, amazing. However, do I use it? No, I don't do poppers. I don't do topwater like that. It's not something I'm good at. It's something I have to get better at. It's something I'm working on. But I don't have anything that could prove useful to them. Now, I've done episodes, as you guys have heard. I've done them with Beach Bum Lures. I absolutely love his metal, and I use it all the time. ES Lures, I've used his stuff. He hasn't been on the show. One day I'll get him. But I use his stuff. I love these things. I use them in people's boats. I use them from the surf, and I catch with them, and I talk about it because I can genuinely tell you, yeah, I use this stuff, and it works. Go use what works, right? So I don't believe in giving you false bum gouge. So, all right, off that. Let's talk about negotiation. For those of you who don't know, in a previous life, when I was in the Marine Corps, my job for 3 fun years was recruiting. So sales, right? Instead of making money, I don't know, you can call it selling souls. I don't know. I've heard different things and had different mentions of what I was with a shotgun pointed in my face. Negotiation is just a deal. That's all it is. You're building a business deal, and that's what you got to do. That's what half of this is building something together to make an end of what you both want. So first steps first. If you know the company you want to work with, you got to do your homework. You got to know their values, what their campaign is, and what other influencers are in that exact same space and what they're getting. Yeah, you got to compare yourself. And that sucks, man. Oh, that sucks. It absolutely is a gut punch when you have to hold the mirror up in front of your face and your product and your brand and say, all right, what am I compared to them? Because comparison is the thief of all joy, right? Yeah. But again, you have to do it. If you know to get in with that company, you have to know what you're going to offer them and you have to align with that. But you have to know your value. What is your unique strength? Your local expertise, your network, your market, your followers, the demographics, the engagements, all that piece that comes into play. You have to know your numbers too for your social media. You got to make sure you're following on that. And don't buy one of those packages that will give you followers and interaction for a point of time. Yeah, it looks pretty. It fails in the long run. It's not worth it. Determining the term, you got to clarify what you're offering. Number of posts. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. This is what I did. And then what do you expect from me? And what do I expect from you? It's a team effort. Though you're pumping out their stuff, they need to pump you out because it's a double win on that network. They may have a 1 million following, and out of that 1 million following, 10,000 are surf anglers. And out of that 10,000 surf anglers, 1,000 follow you. That's 9,000 you're missing. Their post could get you on their radar to help with that, to grow on that, because one can turn into 10, that can turn into 100, that can turn into 1,000 overnight with one viral post that does right. Don't discount that, asking them for something too. You can ask for the world, but hogs get slaughtered, pigs get fed. You don't have to go monsters here, man. You don't. Start small. I mean, maybe a free product for a discount code. Sure, you got to grow that one. Or maybe, hey, look, I'd like to do X for this. You got to find out how you can get your foot in the door, because that's the start. Now, for negotiating, it's not a lot of people like to do that. They don't like to do the sale. They don't like to do the conversation piece. They don't like to do the most powerful tool, or they don't know about the WIFM. What's in it for me? What's in it for you? What this will bring you is this. What this will do for you is this is what I bring. Clarify, confirm, match, mirror. Oh, good words. Good times. Anyway, run through negotiating with somebody, a friend, talk to them and make them, be like, dude, just make it so I can't get through. And then let's gameplay it back. That can be huge. That can be a monster. Figure out how it is to get into negotiating, because a little bit will go a long way. So without, let's, the one thing though, that we don't really think about because we're so excited, man, I got the deal. What about those red flags? Yeah, no one likes the red flags, right? So let's talk about some of them, because if you're in an agreement piece and you need to read an agreement completely and totally before you sign that damn thing, do not even think about signing it if you haven't read it. And if words don't make sense, get legal help, pay the money for it, because you do not want to get bent over on that deal. It hurts and it's not worth it. So, red flag number 1, vague or unclear expectations. So, if I don't know what you want, how can I lay out the terms and do what you want for you not to say, well, I didn't meet your terms? I don't know. You didn't tell me. Well, it's in the agreement. Where? Oh, it's right there. Big one there. Exclusivity clauses. Explain, well, how they're good and they're bad. And in reality, they may prevent you from working with other brands, and how you have to, negotiate that is really a discussion piece. With mine, it was, they want one thing and I want one thing, and we made a slight adjustment to 2 pieces and it worked out for both of us. Again, that's an exception, not a norm, but I negotiated that, and with them to negotiate it as well. And we all came to into the end and it won. So you can have exclusive agreements, and then there are times you won't have one. And if you do, maybe you need to adjust it as a smaller pitch. If you're working with one reel company, great example, the 2 reels you guys know I love. I love Piscifun. I love that flame. And I love my Shimano. And if I got sponsored by one and they're like, well, you can't talk about any other reels, I'm like, okay, well, the problem is this: you want me to utilize this reel for this series, and this is what I do with this. But this type of fishing that I talk about, you don't have that. So how is it I can't utilize the other? You're limiting me, and you're limiting my reach and my availability to help you. How does this work? Because you guys are on 2, you're in the same industry, but you're in 2 different markets they don't cross. That's a discussion piece, and that could very well turn into, well, no, there's nothing at all. And if that's a deal breaker for you, say, all right, well, unfortunately, that's just not something I'm willing to adjust to. I'm sorry, we can't do this now. Maybe we can visit it again in another time. Never be afraid to walk away. That's okay. It's okay to do that. Again, your option. You can be exclusive if you want. You can be non-exclusive. You have to negotiate that. It's on you to do, no one else. And for me to tell you, you should do this because it's not exclusive, or, oh, you should avoid this. No, that's complete disservice to you. This is your business, your line, your life. Run your thing your way. But get advice, talk to friends, talk to other members, talk to people that will help you discuss it. Okay. There. Unfair compensation is always, it's going to be lopsided, guys and gals. It truly is. If the terms don't seem to match the value, though, hey, don't be afraid to ask for more or walk away. Why am I going to pay $5 for this, and I'm only going to, in way back, get 5 cents? That doesn't win. Why? How is that? Well, that's how we do it. Okay, well, I appreciate that's how you do it. However, I'm not seeing a value in this for either of us. You're going to gain into my network and make money off of it, but what am I going to get? What are you going to do to make me whole with the same thing? Well, what do you want? Negotiate. Let's negotiate. If they won't and they don't want to talk about it, that's okay. You may have to walk away, and maybe you have to revisit it or have another time for a conversation. It's, again, depends on that relationship. If you instantly say that's a deal breaker, okay, well, that door's closed. And guess how long it's closed for? Probably forever. Yeah, not a good win. Not a good win at all. Reputation, huge red flag. Huge. Why partnering with a reputable, trustworthy brand matters. Don't just jump in with somebody that doesn't align with yours because they're a name. If a company doesn't do the exact same thing that makes you be able to go to sleep at night knowing that your name is attached to it through that, then what the hell are you doing? Why? Why would you do that? What, for a free this? No. Good example, Ugly Stick. Man, that 12-foot rod, I despise it. I say that on so many podcasts. I despise the 12-foot. Oh, so much on that rod. And boy, did I get friggin' railroaded in comments once when I was like, yeah, no, that's a horrible rod. Why would I want that? If they came to me and said, look, we'll give you a bunch of rods and we'll give you this and this and this. Oh, okay, that sounds great. How have you changed your rod that I like it? Well, we haven't. Then why the hell am I here? The reputation, yeah, you're a good company, but your rod sucks. Okay, sorry, not sorry. This is not something we can negotiate because you don't align with what I align with, right? That's kind of a weird case now. If you start talking values and things like that, you're in a different ball game. But if it doesn't line up with what you believe in and how you believe in it and what they're doing, then your missions aren't going to align. In which case, you are not going to really care about that product, and they're not going to care about you. So, make those work. Yeah, that's kind of a fun one. The whole thing in the end is really about growing. You're growing your business, right? You're growing that piece. And let's do one more bait check because I want to talk more about that. And I think that's really going to hammer home a lot of this discussion. All right. It's the second bait check of the episode. Make sure you're good because that's always important. This bait check is being brought to you by Kids Can Fish Foundation. Kidscanfish.net is the great website to go to and see all the mission that they're doing. I mean, without you, these camps do not happen. These kids get to go to these camps that they set up for cast net, surf fishing. I know they're doing dock fishing, dock series, all that. They get these kids together. They give them the gear. So next time after they've spent the day learning, they can go and fish again with their family. It's building huge blocks. It's amazing. I can't say enough good things about it. I absolutely love them, and I'm so proud of all the things they're doing. I can't wait for them to come back to the Panhandle. That is happening. We have slapped the table on that, so there will be more coming out on that. But kidscanfish.net, if you're there and you can help them buying stuff in the shop, the tumblers, shirts, things like that, or the cast net that they have with Pro Marahi, yeah, that all goes back in. And next year, come down to the tournament, St. Simon's Island. It's going to be on a 3-day weekend. It's going to be great. Come on down. So, importance of your brand. This is your baby, okay? You want to build it and you want to grow it and you want it to be something memorable. I mean, you're not starting this just for shits and giggles, right? You've started this to do what you have a goal, and I hope you have it written down in a clear, concise, and plan. But you need to build your reputation and your brand. With that, you got to stay consistent and be professional. It's so important. I've been consistent for a long time until recently, and that is unfortunate because of me. Thankfully, you guys are still here. I love you for it. I really do. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your patience with me. And I can't tell you why yet. I will eventually be able to tell you why I've been absent and what's going on, but I can't right now. So yeah, I can still do podcasts. We're good, but I just can't tell you all the other stuff. You'll know. I promise. I promise I will tell you. Stay genuine. I mean, don't betray yourself for the dollar. Don't. Hustling's one thing, but hustling for $1 for nothing just because you need $1, is it worth your integrity? Is it worth your reputation? Is it worth your brand? If it is, okay, then you can't go wrong. But if you can slightly say no, then why? What's the win for you? So live that one, do that. And the right sponsorships, they truly take time. They really do. I mean, you're probably not going to find the ultimate company overnight. You're probably not going to have the greatest relationship right off the bat. It's all going to grow, and you have to just be patient and roll with the punches on that. And that's okay. It really is. There's a lot of learning experiences with this. Everything I'm telling you, I wish somebody had told me. Matt told me a ton, and I'm telling you a lot that he told me, but um, a lot of this I had to find out on my own, and I definitely found out the hard way a couple times. But a lot of that you don't know about. I didn't share it with you, and only a couple people knew. Uh, know that it will happen. It truly will. And Spartaning sponsorships and pro staff and ambassadorships, they're all stepping stones and building blocks to get to somewhere that you want to be. And it opens doors, man. It really should, and it does. But it shouldn't be the sole focus of your surf fishing experience and your brand. You're not out there trying to get product all the time. Remember to have fun and why you started this. That's huge. I started this to teach and share knowledge around the world about surf fishing, and I've achieved that, and I'm going to continue to achieve that. And I have met some amazing people doing this. So many. Every one of my guests has been an amazing person to meet, and I've enjoyed it. And I stay in touch with some. Definitely, I don't stay in touch with a lot of people. I'll admit it. I'm sucking right now, keeping in touch with people, but I have my own stuff, so that's why. But it's opened so many doors to have great conversations with people that I never would have thought to. Never, ever. Never would have thought I would have talked to somebody that catches great whites legally. I mean, holy crap, that was such a great experience. Or into Australia, learning about their programs, South Africa. I mean, all of Florida, makers of gear, products. So many amazing things have come from this for me, and it is all thanks to you all and the network that has become from this. So it works, man. And sponsorships are not the end goal. And if it is, you're going to have to adjust. If you've got some fun stuff to talk about on this, by all means, drop in the comments, shoot me a message. I mean, you can reach out to me on findingdemosurffishing.com. You can email me, findingdemosurffishing@gmail.com. And like I said, I'm on all the platforms, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Insta. I suck at Instagram, guys. I really, really do. I think out of all the platforms, Instagram's the one I despise the most. Yeah, I really do. But yeah, you can reach out to all that one. So thank you very much for sticking around for this. I know it wasn't your normal thing that you hear about, and it's kind of like, I hope you got some value out of it and you could see a little bit behind the curtain on some of the stuff that goes on with this. In reality, it's just fun, man. Fishing's fun, and getting things involved with it and sharing people's product and learning about their product and helping somebody put dance shoes on their kid because they're a small business and you help them through that with their product. That's wonderful. Can't go wrong. I got some cool stuff coming up here soon. We got some more guests, of course, as always. Those will be coming. I do have another one of these type of episodes coming that I don't know if you're going to love. In reality, it's going to be a kind of a weird one. So I was on a weird kick one night going down a research hole on laws and regulations when it came to Florida fishing. And I was comparing it to Texas. And I came across the fishing excise tax. And I was like, why the hell am I on this? What is this? What does this do? And I found out that the fishing excise tax is something we all pay that I didn't realize we were paying. But on top of that, I didn't realize what the benefits were of it. And I was kind of like, maybe this is something to talk about. So I got an episode coming up with that. I'm going to have some guests on. They're going to talk from their side of the industry on what the excise tax is and does and how it affects them, but also the turnaround piece. I'm trying to work out one more on a higher note, but I don't think that agency is going to reach back out to me. So I'm just going to run it and hope for the best. Yeah. Sometimes forgiveness, permission, right? It shouldn't be that bad. I don't think I'll be illegal. We'll see. Thanks again for sticking around, everybody. I'm always happy that you're here. I'm hoping that I helped you in some way, shape, or form. and share it out if I have, because this mission's not stopping no matter what. It's going to continue. You've been listening to Finding Demo Surf Fishing. Thanks for sticking around. I'm out of here.